What's up, guys and gals? My name is Splattercat, and we are here on the Nerd Castle on a particularly gusty day in which we shall be playing a little bit more with our gnomes. And don't say that too loudly because they'll get excited. You don't want them to know that we're going to be playing with them. I got to keep that on the DL for right now. But nonetheless, I don't really have a whole lot of things I want to get done in this episode. We do have a bunch of steel pickaxe heads almost finished. Hopefully somebody will come along and take care of those in just a minute. In the previous episode, as a little recap, Bert had gotten his leg chopped off, but he's still going. I mean, he's still kicking it. I mean, I didn't mean that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Bert. I'm sorry. Hey, you said that on purpose. No, I mean, he's still hanging in there. I mean, hopping in there or whatever you want to call it. I wish we could get him like a weaponized wheelchair with like rifles and shit all over it, because that would be the way that I would do it. But what is this? Why is there a steel bar all the way down here? That's odd. I don't know. Sometimes you question your gnomes and you're just like, what is this? Like, what happened here? And none of them have an answer for you ever. I will tell them to finish up mining this wall because that's a lot of iron that we simply can't do without. So let's go ahead and expand this tunnel by a little bit. I'm going to cancel this job over here, though, because I don't care about mining this. Irrelevant. It is irrelevant and infected by irrelevance. And so I think we shall go this way and see if maybe this stringer dips back inwards. I don't think it will, otherwise we'd be seeing it popping out over here or over here somewhere. Nonetheless, we can give it a try. I mean, if this runs all the way down, that's still like another 50 ores, so we might as well get it all out of the walls. And then we'll replace it once we get done with that whole ordeal. Top side, I think now that our tower is slightly constructed, I think I said the next floor was going to do something. I don't know. Our miners are too busy working right now. There's a lot of stuff going on with regards to just like removing earth space. So unfortunately, there's not a whole lot of other things happening. One thing that I did want to do is I wanted to make sure that we started building houses up here, but I can't really start that either until we get out of winter because I don't have enough logs. And so once these start growing back in, we can actually start, because I wanted to build all the houses out of wood. I wanted all the houses and huts to be made out of wood. That's just me personally. I suppose I could put in a couple of stone huts early on. So let's go ahead and we'll start with, oh, I don't know. We'll go with terrain. We'll start with a wall. We'll call it a stone wall. We'll call it a block wall. There we go. We'll call it a marble block. And I don't think the houses have to be necessarily that large. I think they probably just need to be like 5x5s maybe. And then that'll work out okay. There we go. And I don't know why that doesn't look line to. Oh, I did 6x6, didn't I? No, I did 5x6. Balls. All right, stop that. We'll start over. I can do things spatially. I swear, I'm a geologist. I'm supposed to be good at these sorts of things. Like everything you do, if you ever think about getting into geology, everything you ever do will be spatial. That's like we work with engineers a lot. Like geologists and engineers, we give each other a ton of shit, but we're like homeboys. Like every project I've ever worked on has been with an engineer or it's been with a biologist, one or the other. And so, like, we give each other a lot of shit, but there we go. This time I can do it. But that's, I think, just given the nature of how our trades work, you know what I mean? So I think they're going to focus a lot more on, we do a lot of math, but they're going to focus a lot more on the nitty-gritty physics end of things, the applied physics and the, you know, material physics end of things a lot of the time, whereas we tend to focus on kind of spatial recognition. And for example, like a geologist is going to be able to tell you just, you can be a couple 100 meters out and I can tell you exactly how tall something is using my thumbs and just like experience knowing like something that tall. So if it's like a thumb and a half tall, I know how tall that is right now. And then you just kind of, whereas people, when I work with engineers, they're just like, well, that seems like it's probably not the best way to measure that. And I'm like, yeah, but until we go back to the truck and get like a tape measure, we go back or get a meter stick or anything like that, you got to eyeball it for now. We got to put something down on the paper until we go get the hard materials to actually finish the job. I'm like, well, I guess you have a point. I'm like, yep, I do. I always have a point. I'm like a pencil, a sharpened one, not an unsharpened one, because I know the second I say that, somebody will be like, well, pencils can be sharpened or unsharpened, Splattercat. And I'm like, guys messing with my things, trying to make me sound foolish. It's not okay. You guys are just like Chad Thomas. Always trying to make me look dumb. I think what I'll do, I mean, we've got to, I'm going to play around with scaffoldings because you guys pointed that out and I want to see what happens. They cost planks, which instantaneously makes them really, really inefficient. Like, I really dislike the fact that they use planks for those, but what are you going to do? So let's go ahead and put in a scaffold and just kind of see what the benefit is. For example, in towns, I think scaffolds were probably implemented the best, where they were just free to put up, free to take down, and then that was that. We want to be at, I think, depth 2 now because it's on top of there, and we're just going to build the second layer. I think I'll go for... There it is. And we've got to do this one at a time, and I'm hoping I'll be able to do it. It can be really hard to see this stuff sometimes. It can be really, really difficult to figure out like what you're aiming things at sometimes. And so in order to do this, what they're going to have to do is they got to put down a block first. It didn't used to work like that. Like back in the day, they wouldn't put in the floor first. Like so you would put in a block and they wouldn't put in the floor. And so they just wouldn't do the job. Now they'll put in the floor automatically after you tell them to do it. So it's kind of, they fixed the problem. They made it automated, which is great. Actually makes life a lot easier. Over here, eventually, we should see some pickaxes getting made. Yeah, and there they are right there. All the steel pickaxes are done. I don't think they haven't been... my guess is that they haven't been picked up because we don't have any mining jobs left. So let me sprint on down to the 67. Okay, that works out all right. And so we're going to build walls one more time. Any stone. Like so. And then we're going to carry this off this way just to see how far this stringer goes. And in the half-hearted hope that maybe at some point it'll turn inwards. The other thing that I need to do is I'm going to sell all my other pickaxes to the guy on the top floor. We got a merchant in right now, if I'm remembering correctly. Oh, no, he may have left, or he might be sleeping. One or the other. Bert's resting away with his one-legged glory. I'm actually pretty stoked that he survived that and he's got one leg now. Bert's a character. Bert's a character. I'll give him that. He's one of those standout individuals where he gets a leg chopped off. He still doesn't quit. He got his leg chopped off. The enemy picked up his leg and tried to beat him to death with it. He bandaged his leg in battle. He put bandages on it. It was just like, ah, I don't care. And he used his leg like a super soaker of blood to blind the enemy. And then he went and beat him to death with a warhammer. It's just like, who does that? Who does that? Bert. That's who. Bert keeps it real. He's a testament to Nompton spirit. It was surprising that he survived that. I figured he was going to bleed out. He had a lot of blood. I think that's going to be the one thing that we could be assured of with Bert is that the ton of blood that they're not going to be able to do that job because that's what I did wrong. I knew I did something wrong with the house up top. I knew it. And I just realized what it was. You've got to put in floors before this will work. Because they will put in the floors automatically for that spot, but they can't get to it because they need a floor to walk on. So what we have to do now is we go floor, and then we make it a block of floor. And then we just take this right back like we did previously. And once they've placed all of those, we'll put in the next layer. And then we'll roof this whole thing. We'll try and make it look nice. I'll probably use like a thatched roof or something like that. We could keep the buildings low if we really wanted to kind of make things look nice. And then let's get flooring in right here. I think the type of flooring that gnomes are going to want in their houses are largely going to be relegated to plank floors. We're almost at the end of winter, but we've only got 100 logs left, so I'm going to try and take it easy on plank floors. Instead, what I may try and do is we'll go replace floor, and maybe, I don't know, make a lead floor or something. It doesn't sound very healthy, but still, it's kind of badass. Give them a lead floor. There we go, and that'll look awesome. I also need to put in a door, so let's do that, and it's going to be under our furniture menu at the top. And I think everybody's going to have wood doors. Let's go with, I don't know, pine doors or something. And once that gets finished, good, they're putting in the floors right there. The merchant had already left, so unfortunately we missed that sales cycle. It doesn't really matter. We don't have a ton of stuff to sell anyways, so I'm not that worried about it. Oh, look, somebody swapped him a helmet because they felt bad. That was nice of them. They're like, listen, bro, you lost a leg. Take my helmet. I'll wear the bronze one today because obviously you've got bigger things to worry about. And he's like, thank you. I do have bigger things to worry about, like my missing leg. He's kind of spiteful about it. We told him not to be because it was in the service. He got a medal and everything. We're like, listen, man, we gave you the highest honor. We gave you the high medal of Miklar. That's the highest medal that we have in Nompton. It's the only thing we have to recognize your service, and you're still being spiteful about this. We did our best, man. We did our best. I'm going to do... I don't know if I should use my gold bars on these or if I should just use like bronze. I think I'm just going to use bronze. And that'll be fine. I'm actually going to have them craft a 10 on these. so that we always have 10 of them that we can sell off at any given time. And that should allow us, I should have done that in an earlier episode. I should have done it way earlier on because we have like these giant periods where nothing's being crafted for trading. We have so many, wait, did they kill the llamas already? We have so many births going on that a lot of the time I'm a little bit confused as to what's in here. Wheat seeds. I should probably make a bit more storage in here. Let's do that. Here, just turn the whole thing into storage. Who even cares? Just make that whole thing seed storage. And then also, is cotton being stored in here? Where is cotton being stored for me? I have no idea which storehouse is storing cotton. And that might explain why it's never getting hauled and it's just laying around on the ground. Yeah, let's go ahead and take care of this. Let's add cotton. We'll say that fibers go right here. And that'll be okay. I can only assume that the other stuff is being stored somewhere. I mean, this stockpile I would almost swear is 100% bone-related materials. God, we are so full up on random stuff. I need to start getting rid of some of these bones. I just have way too many. I think what I'll do is I'll go with a statuette, and we'll just say any bone, and we'll just keep that like on repeat or something. We'll just let that go for a little while because, honestly, we have way too many bones, way too many leathers. There's a lot of stuff laying around. I think we've got ogre leather, though, around somewhere. It might be worth it to go to the leather worker and make a leather cuirass or two. Out of ogre hide or something. Because the ogre hide, as I recall, is about as good as... I don't think it's as good as... I think it's as good as bronze. And it's lighter, so we could put it on everybody else so that maybe they won't get butchered in between... Like when a monster attacks and before our guards get there, I don't know. These should go really fast. They should be able to put in these bags pretty rapidly. Hopefully not vapidly. Which is only one keystroke away. I mean, R and V are not so far apart. It's only like one space on the keyboard. I did have to look, by the way. I didn't want you guys to memorize the keyboard. I do type. I did a lot of Mavis Beacon growing up because my mom was all about vocabulary and my mom was all about typing. Typing and vocabulary. Because like back in the 80s and 90s, like typing was a thing that nobody knew how to do. And so if you knew how to type, you could guarantee yourself a job. Nowadays, everybody knows how to type. So it's just like, well, there's one more skill devalued. We also, when I was growing up, we used to have letter writing practice. I don't know if you guys had to do that, but I grew up in the early 90s and we had to do, like, I remember in first grade, you had to learn how to properly write correspondence. Like as though you were talking to somebody from Britain or though you were talking to somebody from Spain or, you know, somebody from South Africa, whatever. You picked a country and you would write letters to this imaginary person. Your teacher would write back to you. We also had pen pals. Those are a thing. People don't have those anymore. I had a pen pal from, I don't know. I only wrote him like once. I distinctly remember as a kid thinking pen pals were super lame and just like not wanting to participate at all. That was one of those things that like when your parents, they bring it home one day and they're like, oh, look, I made you a friend in, I don't know, Zaire or something. And you're like, okay. And you write them like one letter. And you're like, hey, man, I realize we don't really have a ton in common, but the street sweeper went by today and it cleaned out the gutters. And I live next to an apple orchard. And then after you like explain stuff and he sends stuff back, I don't know, you just never write back again. Pen pals always seemed dumb to me. I never liked, not as in they're dumb people, but I mean, just the whole concept of a pen pal seemed like it was just a time pass. It was just something you do when you're super bored. And then there's no other excuse for it beyond that. It's like, how bored are you right now? How about we write somebody random that you don't even know and just kind of introduce yourself to them? You're like, okay. Ooh, he's living like a robo house. That's awesome. I would live in that house, although your feet would be covered in lead, which is probably a terrible, terrible idea at the end of the day. I'm going to put in the second layer. We have to do those one by one, otherwise they'll mess it up and they'll trap themselves on the walls and all kinds of crazy stuff. So we're going to be careful about it for now. We're still crafting up torches right there. And so as these get lined up, I just like to sit here and click them as they go. It's the only way to get it done with any sort of expediency. And there we are. You hope that the builder doesn't take too long. That's the other half. Is that if your builder takes forever, this is just not going to get finished. I wait until I see the guy carrying the block, basically, before I schedule the next one in. That guy, I don't know where he's going, so I think he's probably... Oh, no, he's not. Never mind. Cancel that. And now I've got to go all the way back through the menu. We'll grab the blocks one last time. Oop, nope, I don't want that. I don't want that at all. Stop that. And also stop that. We have to go from one direction now. I messed up. There we go. So now we're back where we started. Which seems I'm always backpedaling back to where I started. That's part of just being terrible at video games, and that's one of the real kind of sad ironies of my own existence, is that I play video games on the internet, but I'm not very good at them, and I've actually gained like a small, you know, I've gained a following. I've gained a following on YouTube being as terrible as I am, and it's mind-blowing to me sometimes. I don't understand YouTube at all. I was going to do a video log on this, and it's like, I watch LPers, but I can't tell you why I watch LPers. Like, I don't know, it's fun watching somebody else play video games. Usually I use it as background noise. That's what I do, is I'll be like working on something anyways, and I'll just throw an LP on, and I'll put it like half the screen is the LP, half the screen is whatever I'm working on, and I just use it as background noise for like a game that I know I'm never going to buy and I'm never going to play. And I'll be like, yeah, I'm never going to own this game, but I'd still like to check it out and see what it's all about. And so there it is. I don't know, though. Like, I was under the impression when I first started LPing that the only thing everybody wanted to see was, like, skilled gaming. And luckily for me, that was not the case. People were like, oh, we'll watch you be terrible. Just, you know, be funny or something. I don't know. I have no idea how this whole YouTube thing works. It's like I sat down one day and started doing it, and then all of a sudden, like, the Nerd Castle was here. And now I look back, and I'm just like, oh my god, To those of you who have been here since I had, like, 50 subscribers, congratulations, because I watch my old content and I find it to be embarrassing at this point. My old content was really, really bad. And that's not to say my new content is particularly good. I don't actually think my content compares at all to people like the Yogscast or people like, you know, Angry Joe, who actually put a ton of editing work and a ton of visual stuff in. Although I think at this point Angry Joe probably has like producers and things, would be my guess. If I really had to throw it out there, I would almost guarantee he has like producers or something at this point who handle all that for him. Once you get that large, it seems like it would be a tremendous waste of your own time to sit around doing your own editing and things. It just seems to me, I worked in radio for a while, and like radio, you don't even have to be popular in radio, and you have a producer and you have people that handle that stuff for you. So I would assume that Angry Joe and like Total Biscuit and all the really huge all the really huge YouTubers have somebody that like handles all that business for them. The next thing I need to do is a thatch floor, and it's gonna go like so. And the second we get all of that put in, I think we've got enough thatch to make it work. It's going to use a lot of wheat straw, but I think I have a lot of wheat straw. I thought I put it in my tracked stocks, but maybe I didn't. Let's go to the stocks menu, and I need to look and see how much wheat straw I have. 284. Oh, we'll be fine. That's not even... I was thinking I was going to be at like 85, which is actually sort of like you need it to be kind of right there. Where is a bear? Oh, there it is. Give that thing an attack order, because we're about to get immigrants, and if it runs off to the side of the screen, I'm going to be irritated. Murder that thing. Go kill it. Be like, hey, boo-boo, and then just like beat it to death. With a warhammer made of lead. Because I am not... See, he ran down to the bottom corner where they spawn. I think that's where, basically by default, when they run away from the gate, they end up kind of bottlenecked down in here. And so we just need to handle that. We need to make sure that every time we have a bear that's anywhere near the vicinity of our base, that he gets murdered. Or bear murdered, or whatever. I don't know. I was trying to combine words right there to be clever, but it wasn't very clever, and it wasn't very funny. And so I'm like, damn it. Mission failed. Restart from the beginning. Got coal right there. Actually, we ran out of iron, interestingly enough. It didn't go as far as I thought it was going to. Well, if it's right here, it's not a terrible guess to go down to this layer and just kind of see what's cracking. So let's get down here, and we will see what's going on next. Just kind of clear out another large area. I'll try and let this, we're getting towards the end of this episode, and if this is still running, then what I'll do is I'll allow this to complete in between episodes. You guys, whenever I do that, you guys miss battles, though, and it makes me sad, or everybody misses battles, and it disappoints me when things like, what if we had missed Bert's battle? That would have been awful, because then I'd have a one-legged gnome hopping around that I'd have to explain to everybody, and that's no funsies. And so there's our thatched roof, and so what we need now is we want to build ourselves a... If I know how this works, I don't know if this is going to work precisely the way that I want it to, but we need to do a incline up. Like so. And I think they can walk through ramps, so it shouldn't matter if I do this wrong. And I think when they put the ramp right here, it should round itself. I'm not positive. It might. It may or it may not. If it doesn't, we'll have to tear all this down. We'll have to start over from scratch. Oh, it doesn't round itself out. Okay, well then we'll have to do this in sort of a two-dimensional way. Let's go ahead and cancel. Oh, never mind. They're already done. So what we'll do now is we'll deconstruct all this. And what we'll do is we'll just make it two-dimensional. It'll be okay. It'll be fine. Anything to make it look a little bit better. And we'll turn this into a domicile where somebody can live, but we gotta furnish it first. So we'll put in a little bed. We'll put in just like the basic necessities of life. And I mean, I wouldn't say that a bed is a basic necessity, having slept on floors a large portion of the last couple of years. Not required. Sleeping on floors kind of sucks, though. I mean, you get used to it after a while, but it takes a little bit. The first couple nights are going to be hell on the lumbar. It's going to be bad. You're going to have spinal problems the first couple days, and then after that, you learn to kind of curl up dog-like. And then, I don't know, you see how animals do it? You end up doing the exact same thing, and then you end up all right. And then it doesn't, like, hurt quite as much anymore. The pillow, though, sleeping on using your own arms as a pillow. I went on a survey one time where we were out for a couple of, I think it was like a week and a half, and I forgot a pillow. And so I was basically sleeping on just like a pad and using my arms as a pillow, and it'll bust up your neck pretty well. But you survive. So now what we want to do is we want to go down to a thatch wall, and I want to finish this before the end of this episode. And we'll just go like this. Just 3 at a time. And if I can finish this off before the end of the episode, I can die a happy man, sort of, kind of. I don't know if maybe I should put the entrance on one side, or maybe cut some windows in this bitch too. I should probably put in some windows. I don't think the game has glass blocks. Let me look. Does the game have glass yet? Let's see. It's not in there. There's no glass there. You would think that there would be windows by now. That's actually something that I've never checked in on. I don't see any windows on that list. Yeah, I don't think windows exist yet. That may be something that we're just kind of SOL on. I'm going to break the episode off right here. My name is Splattercat. Thank you for joining me in the Nerd Castle for another episode of Gnomoria. I hope it's been a lot of fun for you stopping by. It's always a lot of fun for me to be here on the internet, and I always feel tremendously blessed that I get to do this for a living. It's just like one of those things where you thank your lucky stars every single day. So I do want to thank you all for being here. I realize this is kind of one of those sappy endings to an episode, but thank you for coming by and watching. I do have a lot of fun hanging out with you guys every single day. I will see you in the next episode, everybody. Bye.